Hey there. I was thinking about moving to France, and one thing that's been on my mind is the climate. What do you think is the best climate in France?
Hi, that's a great question. France has a diverse climate due to its geographical features. In the north, you have a temperate maritime climate, while the south experiences a more Mediterranean climate. Each region has its own unique charm. What are you looking for in a climate?
I'm not a big fan of extreme temperatures. I like it moderate, not too hot or too cold. What region do you think fits that description?
For a moderate climate, you might want to consider the central and western regions. Places like Normandy and Brittany in the northwest have a temperate climate with mild summers and winters. The Atlantic Ocean influences the weather, keeping it relatively stable.
That sounds promising. I've also heard about the Mediterranean climate in the south. Is that a good option?
Absolutely. The south, especially the French Riviera in Provence, enjoys a Mediterranean climate with hot, dry summers and mild winters. If you prefer warmer weather and don't mind a bit of heat in the summer, the south could be a great choice.
I do like the idea of warm weather, but I've read about mistral winds in the south. Are they a significant factor?
Yes, the Mistral can be strong in the Rhone Valley in Provence. It's a cold, northwesterly wind that can bring cooler temperatures, especially in the winter. Some people find it invigorating, while others may see it as a downside. It's essential to consider your tolerance for strong winds.
Good to know. I've also heard about the wine regions in France, like Bordeaux and Burgundy. How's the climate there?
Wine regions often have specific microclimates conducive to grape cultivation. Bordeaux, for instance, has an oceanic climate, which is mild and temperate. Burgundy, further east, experiences a continental climate with colder winters. Both regions offer unique climates and, of course, fantastic wine.
Interesting. What about the mountainous regions like the Alps and the Pyrenees?
The mountainous areas have alpine climates with colder temperatures, especially in winter. If you enjoy winter sports and don't mind the cold, the French Alps could be perfect for you. The Pyrenees, on the other hand, offer a mix of climates depending on the altitude.
So, it seems like there's a climate for everyone in France. It really depends on personal preferences.
Absolutely. Whether you prefer the mild weather of the northwest, the warmth of the Mediterranean, or the crisp air of the mountains, France has a diverse range of climates. It all comes down to what suits your lifestyle and preferences. Have you considered any specific regions yet?
I'm leaning towards the northwest, maybe Normandy. The temperate climate and the proximity to the coast sound appealing. What do you think?
Normandy is a beautiful choice. The coastal landscapes, historic towns, and the moderate climate make it a fantastic region. Plus, the culinary scene is superb. It really depends on what you're looking for in terms of lifestyle, but Normandy could be a perfect fit.
Thanks for the input. I feel more informed now. The climate is a significant factor for me, and it's good to know that there are multiple options to explore in France.
You're welcome! It's always a good idea to consider the climate when choosing a new place to live. France offers a variety of options, so I'm sure you'll find the perfect fit for your preferences. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
You know, I've also been thinking about the cultural aspects of these regions. How does the climate affect the local lifestyle and activities in places like Normandy?
That's a great point. The climate indeed plays a role in shaping the local lifestyle. In Normandy, with its temperate climate, you'll find a blend of coastal and rural activities. The mild weather allows for outdoor pursuits like hiking along the picturesque cliffs or exploring charming villages without extreme temperature concerns.
That sounds wonderful. I'm also curious about the impact of seasons. How distinct are the seasons in Normandy?
Normandy experiences 4 distinct seasons, but none are extreme. Summers are generally mild, and winters are cool but not overly cold. Spring and autumn bring pleasant temperatures and vibrant scenery. It's a region where you can truly appreciate the beauty of changing seasons without facing extreme weather conditions.
I love the idea of experiencing all 4 seasons without any extremes. It seems like Normandy offers a good balance. What about rainfall? I'm not a big fan of too much rain.
Normandy does receive a fair amount of rainfall, especially in the winter months. However, it's not as intense as some other regions. The lush green landscapes owe much to the regular rainfall, creating a picturesque environment. If you enjoy a bit of rain without it being too overwhelming, Normandy strikes a nice balance.
That makes sense. I suppose a moderate amount of rainfall is a fair trade-off for the vibrant greenery. I've also been thinking about the cost of living. Does the climate affect living costs in different regions?
Climate can indirectly influence living costs. For instance, in areas with milder climates, you might spend less on heating or cooling your home. Coastal regions like Normandy might have a more stable housing market due to their popularity, but it's essential to research specific areas and factors that contribute to the cost of living.
Good point. I'll definitely look into that aspect as well. You've been incredibly helpful in providing insights into the climate and its implications. I appreciate your expertise.
I'm glad I could help. Choosing a new place to live is a significant decision, and considering the climate is just one aspect of the equation. If you have any more questions or need information on other aspects like culture, amenities, or local attractions, feel free to ask.
Thanks for being so thorough. I'm starting to get a clearer picture of what I'm looking for. Let's shift gears a bit. I've heard that some regions in France have microclimates. How do those work, and do they significantly impact daily life?
Microclimates are indeed fascinating. They are small, localized climate patterns influenced by factors like topography, proximity to water bodies, and vegetation. In France, you can find microclimates within larger regions, and they can have subtle but noticeable effects on daily life. For instance, certain areas might be slightly warmer or cooler than the surrounding region, impacting agriculture or outdoor activities.
That's intriguing. Are there any specific regions with notable microclimates that I should be aware of?
One notable example is the Loire Valley. It's known for its mild climate overall, but within the valley, you can find variations. The proximity to the Atlantic Ocean and the shelter provided by surrounding hills can create microclimates, influencing temperature and precipitation. It's worth considering these nuances if you're looking for a specific type of climate.
Wow, I hadn't considered the Loire Valley. I'll definitely look into that. And what about extreme weather events like storms or heat waves? Do they vary significantly across regions?
France, like any other country, is susceptible to extreme weather events. Coastal areas might experience storms, especially in the Atlantic and Mediterranean regions. Heat waves can occur in the summer, with the south being more prone to higher temperatures. It's essential to be aware of regional weather patterns and any potential risks associated with them.
Safety is definitely a priority. I'll make sure to factor that into my decision-making process. Speaking of safety, how about natural disasters like earthquakes or floods? Are certain regions more prone to these?
France is not known for frequent seismic activity, but there have been historical instances of earthquakes, particularly in the southeast. Floods can occur, especially in low-lying areas or regions with significant rivers. The key is to be aware of the local geography and any potential risks associated with it. Authorities usually have measures in place to manage and mitigate these risks.
Good to know. It's always wise to be prepared. I appreciate your insights into these less commonly discussed aspects. It really helps paint a comprehensive picture.
I'm glad I could provide valuable information. Moving to a new country involves considering a multitude of factors, and understanding the climate is just one piece of the puzzle. If you have any more questions, or if there's anything else you're curious about, feel free to ask.